Hello and welcome to the Overwhelm is Optional podcast. I'm Heidi Mark, coach and biggest cheerleader for successful but secretly overwhelmed women. As well as weekly episodes here on the podcast, you can find out more about what I offer by going to heidimark.co.uk. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Overwhelm is Optional podcast, making overwhelm optional for you so you can live your life your way with freedom, joy, ease, much more laughter and playfulness, and much more efficiency, because God, it's hard working through overwhelm, isn't it? Get the things done you want to do. Quit the overwhelm struggle. It's boring, it's tedious, it's a waste of your life and energy. How? Well, tune in and listen. Let's see what happens. So, my name's Heidi Mark, the Gentle Rebel Coach. What do I mean by that? Well, the Gentle Rebellion is our sneaky, secret, gentle, not pushy, not making any fuss, rebellion against the idea that overwhelm is just how things are done. That exhaustion is what you swap for a life well lived. How's that working out for you? Seems a bit of a nonsense to me. So, yeah, gentle rebellion. Let's gently rebel together. And this week, I want to rebel against self-care. What? What are you talking about, Heidi? How can you rebel against self-care? Surely we want more self-care. Surely the whole point is to live with more joy and ease and more health. Yes. But if, like me, you get a bit irritated when somebody says, are you looking after yourself? You really ought to up your self-care. What are you doing to look after yourself? If you're really overwhelmed and exhausted, this isn't helpful. It's one of those things that is meant well, but it's kind of irritating if you're, like me, easily prone to being overwhelmed, although I'd never have known it before I burnt out. So let's just think about this. To me, when somebody says you should be looking after yourself better, it's like, yeah, but you know that. You're not stupid. Of course you should be looking after yourself better. But have they seen your list of shoulds and oughts and must-dos? And yet apparently you should put yourself first. But that's really, really hard. It's not that simple, is it? Because you've got a lot of responsibility. You've got a lot of things to hold together. Running a successful life successfully just requires a lot of juggling of stuff. It's tricky, and adding in self-care as yet another thing you ought to be doing, another thing to fail at, to add to your invisible secret get better at list, have you checked yours lately, is unhelpful. So I'd like to invite you with me to just even consider the idea that we need to think about self-care differently, that we need to gently but firmly rebel against the idea that we ought to be somehow constantly up-leveling our self-care. In fact, I don't even really like the word self-care. Self-care to me, I don't know, it's just come to feel like a maintenance, like a machine. So, for example, I love my dishwasher. It may sound like a funny thing to say, but I never wanted a dishwasher. I didn't see the point. They take up space. I don't know. I quite liked washing up. I didn't mind washing up. And then for some reason, I can't quite remember the logic, we were looking for this house, couldn't find it, so we bought a dishwasher. There was logic in there somewhere. It's like, we can't move house, so we'll have a dishwasher. It's hilarious. Anyway, I love my dishwasher. I really do love my dishwasher, because what I found is that a dishwasher is a cupboard to put dirty stuff in. And this is magical because it's out of sight. So instead of it building up and then you doing some washing up and then it having to pile on the other side, you just put it in a cupboard. And then eventually you put some soap in and you press the button and it cleans it. So I became a mass convert to having a dishwasher when we bought the dishwasher, which is probably about 8 years ago now. But anyway, the dishwasher, as much as I love it, is a little bit troublesome with its filter. I don't know why. I don't really care why. It works really well if I show it some dishwasher care. So if after every single wash, and I don't mind doing this because it rewards me with magically cleaning an entire cupboard of dirty dishes and mugs and everything, and I love it for that. So after every single wash, I have to rinse out the whole drainy bit, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. But that's one of the things I do is dishwasher care. And then there's cars. Cars need quite a lot of care, don't they? And I love my car. My car is like a little home on wheels. It's like being a snail, but much faster, obviously. And I've got all my stuff and I have freedom and I can go anywhere I want. And that's really, really cool. But it needs love and care. It needs maintenance. So mine at the moment, I'm aware of the fact that, what does it need? Oh, one of its liquid things that I don't really understand is topping up before the winter, antifreeze. So I need to deal with that. I have some fear around putting the wrong liquid in, so that requires effort. So it's been on my list. It's on a list which isn't an important list, so it's out of my brain, out of the way, and it's becoming more to the forefront as the temperature drops, and it will get done. But it's a thing to do, right? So there's car care, there's dishwasher care, there's lots of different things. My home needs love and care. It feels better when it's hoovered and cleaned, and there's all sorts of things like windows need washing, and it's all very well saying just get a window washer, but that's another thing to do. So it's not always to do with who does the work, who hoovers, who cleans the windows. It's something that has to be done. So it has to be organized. It has to be, there is responsibility for that. There is house care. So there's lots of things in our life that are things that need to be maintained, because when they're maintained, they work better. And I think one of the problems for me is that self-care has got slotted into that guilty, never quite having everything under control. If I maintained myself better, I would have more energy, be more efficient. I would basically run better, like the dishwasher. And that's why I don't like the term self-care. And that's why I am considering how I talk about looking after myself in terms more of self-love and nourishment, rather than coping with things that really need adjusting, boundaries that need altering, or health, my attitude to health. I ought to be eating healthier, I ought to be moving more. There's a lot of oughts and shoulds to explore. In fact, I would argue that this whole topic is quite big, and that there's much gold to be gained from entertaining the idea that it's time for you to gently rebel against self-care. And if you would like to gently rebel, or to consider the idea of gently rebelling against self-care, then I would like to invite you to a workshop to do just that with me. So this is a free workshop. It's on Tuesday, the 18th of October at 7 p.m. UK time. There will also be a replay. You can choose to just show up and it'll be on Zoom, so you can either hang around at the end. There'll be no participation during it, but if you want the opportunity to come live and hang around at the end and discuss this or receive some coaching around this, then you'd be very, very welcome to. Or you can just show up, all the videos will be off, it'll just be me, sound off, etc., and then disappear quietly afterwards. That's also complete invitation to do that. Or you can book in for it and then just catch the replay. So whatever you want, but I'm going to invite you to register for that. I'm going to put a link in the show notes below. And we're just going to go as deep as we can in the time allowed. So I really don't like workshops overrunning. I find when I watch other people's webinars and workshops go on past an hour, I get quite tired afterwards, and I don't want that for you. So I tend to be quite succinct in the way that I deliver, because obviously I'm a very experienced teacher. So hopefully that's reflected in the way I teach my workshops. I do believe it is. I want it to take pressure off you. I want it to be an opportunity for you to explore your relationship with how you care for yourself, and to gently rebel against self-care, the word self-care, and it representing another thing to do, another pressure, another thing to add to your to-do list, another thing to fail at, another thing to get better at, another thing. More shoulds, oughts, musts, that kind of thing, and instead to find a way to nourish yourself, to love and accept yourself, to care deeply for yourself rather than to maintain yourself in order to hold everything together. So this is a short episode because I really want to explore this more fully and deeply together, and I'd like to invite you to do that with me. I was going to say in person over Zoom, because it's just sometimes really nice to get together. I haven't done one of these since, I think it was February last time I did a free workshop. So if you haven't yet had a look, I have recently put a lot of new videos and old videos which I hadn't uploaded. I've just gone all out on my YouTube channel, so there's quite a lot there if you'd like to check that out. And this workshop will eventually be on there, but I really want the experience of inviting you to put it in your calendar, so that I don't really want you to have to add it as another thing to do on your to-do list. So I know that if I just recorded it and put it on YouTube, it would be more easily dismissed. And also I'd really like, if you would like to, I'd like the chance to meet you and answer your questions, or maybe coach you through a bit of stuff around this topic. So there's my invitation to you. So I'm going to leave that there for today. But if this resonates with you, the idea that you are not something to be maintained through adding self-care to your overwhelm, that instead you are somebody very special who wishes to feel loved, seen, heard and understood. That deep, deep self-care. If you'd like to explore that with me, that is Tuesday the 18th of October at 7 p.m. I will put a link below in the show notes, and I hope to see you there. Have a great week. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If this resonates with you, please use the like, subscribe and share buttons to help other people find their way here too. And please do go to www.heidimark.co.uk/the 1 minute mark with an E to join my mailing list and receive my free 1 minute life-changing audio practice.